Take an amazing voyage to Somewhere in Time, the new album from Iron Maiden. Iron Maiden. Catch them somewhere on tour, sometime in early 1987. Somewhere in Time on Capitol.
Hey everybody, it's me, Dr. Fuck from Thrash or Die, Ralph Vieira, and here we are again for another exciting episode of Rock and Metal Combat Podcast. And this week we're going to talk about Iron Maiden's Somewhere in Time. And before I get into my whole spiel about Maiden and this album, I want to say hello to Ian. How you guys doing?
Yeah, I'm a quart low, but a beer high, so I'm all right.
All right, cool. As long as you're drunk, man.
Yes, as always.
All right, cool. Then it'll be a good show. All right, so before I get into my Iron Maiden thing, I want both of you to give me your thoughts on Somewhere in Time and your thoughts on Iron Maiden in general.
All right, Somewhere in Time was my first Iron Maiden album. I bought this and Wasp Inside the Electric Circus on the same day. And this was kind of what sealed the deal for me as getting into metal. Because before then I had, what you would call cock rock, some pop metal. I was actually scared of Maiden at that point. Friends were teasing me for listening to hard rock. They're like, oh, you're going to become a stoner now. I'm like, hey, it ain't like I'm listening to Iron Maiden. But I saw the video for Stranger in a Strange Land. I'm like, this sounds pretty fucking cool. And, man, I came home, put it on, and it blew my mind, and immediately went back and bought the whole discography. So I love the Di'Anno era. Just as good, in my opinion, as the Dickinson era. Just different, but both equally powerful. It's not like, Van Halen, Van Hagar, where one is godly and one sucks. I think they're both godly in their own right. And it just started a lifelong love affair with Iron Maiden. So, Ralph, what do you think?
Damn, dude, you like Van Hagar?
No.
Hell no.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't paying attention, I guess. Sorry. All right, my love for Iron Maiden started in 1980 when I went to a record store and I saw the very first Iron Maiden album. And I turned the album around and it was like, what is this, Judas Priest? Because you had Dennis Stratton with the red leather pants. You had Dave Murray with the vest, and he looked like KK, and Paul Di'Anno looked like Halford, and Steve Harris looked like Pete Way. But I still said, hey man, I gotta own this. This looks like a Judas Priest thing, And the album cover itself was like, wow, I never heard of Iron Maiden. I'm taking this home. I did. I walked out the record store. Well, I paid for it. I walked out. I went home. I put it on. The first thing I ever heard from Iron Maiden was the song Prowler, and that got me hooked. And I was like, then, Remember Tomorrow, Running Free. Then when it got to Phantom of the Opera, I was like, this is the most intensely fast band I've ever heard in my life, because this was like maybe 3 months before I saw Motorhead live at their first U.S. show, but that's a whole different story. But Maiden was like, to me, gods. And then I remember hearing Wrathchild on the radio, believe it or not. That's how I was aware there was a second Iron Maiden album. And then soon after that, this is pre-internet and pre-everything, that when Number of the Beast came out, I was like, wait a second, where's Paul Di'Anno? I had no idea he was out of the band. Number of the Beast blew my mind. So did Peace of Mind and Power Slave. All exceptionally great albums. And that's where it stopped for me. Yeah, I know a lot of people are going to hate me for my opinion on Somewhere in Time. Yeah, did you hear me? Let me repeat that. Somewhere in Time. Do you know why I'm saying Somewhere in Time? Do you guys know why I'm saying that? Oh, I'll explain it. What's the acronym of Somewhere in Time?
Shit.
That's right. It's a piece of shit. Fuck this fucking album. What happened? They were on such a fucking roll, and then what really pisses me off about this fucking album was during the Power Slave, the final great album of Iron Maiden, they released a home video called Behind the Iron Curtain, where they played Poland. And there's a scene where Bruce Dickinson's talking to some Polish guy in a bar, and the guy goes to Bruce Dickinson, I would like to put keyboards, he goes, I would like to put synthesizers. I want to play heavy metal, but I want to, and I play the synthesizer. And Bruce goes, you can't put synthesizers in heavy metal. It won't work. And what does he do on the next damn album? There's synthesizer on it. Oh my God, it was such a letdown when I heard this freaking album. It was like, and I know people love it. I think the only good thing about this album is the damn album cover. The album cover is one of the best, not better than Killers, which to me is the greatest Maiden album cover, probably the greatest metal album cover ever. But Somewhere in Time, I really do like the album cover and the little hidden meanings. If you look good enough, you see 2 Minutes to Midnight and stuff like that all over this. But I think this album totally blows. Now, I know a lot of people are just like screaming and pulling their hair out and say, how can you say that about my favorite Iron Maiden album? Well, the reason I can say it is because, again, I'm an old motherfucker. If I would have bought this album the same time you did, you're younger, I would have probably liked it as much as you do. That's probably the reason why I love In Through the Outdoor from Led Zeppelin. I'm sure if I was into Led Zeppelin all that time, I would have thought that album sucked too, but it's a timing issue with me. I'm old school, just like if you ever meet a guy that says, oh, Metallica's best album is the Black Album. Well, you know that motherfucker wasn't around in the 80s to appreciate what Metallica was. So I hate this fucking album. So let's get into it. Why do you guys start off this album? I'm disgusted.
All right. Well, actually, I'm so pissed off by Ralph's diatribe about this masterpiece. I do mean pissed off. And, well, it probably doesn't help that I'm like 8 beers into our recording today. Caught Somewhere in Time. A little bit more background on this. They were just coming off of the mammoth Power Slave tour, which was just an amazingly long tour, resulting in what I feel is one of the greatest live albums of all time, Live After Death, which I fucking adore. The album, the video, classic. But the band was severely burned out and felt that they wanted to do something different. And what Bruce wanted to do, actually, he wanted to incorporate acoustic music with Iron Maiden, something a little bit more like Jethro Tull, believe it or not, which Steve Harris is a huge fan of. But that's the direction that Dickinson had envisioned for this. Hey, let's go 180 and do something, acoustic, mix it in with what we normally do. But as we all know, this ship is steered by Steve Harris, and he shot that down, and instead they went with, guitar synth. And I think it worked perfectly. But, it's very much like Ralph said, the time I came into this, this is the first album, so I didn't know any better, and I think it sounds great. Caught Somewhere in Time is just, I fucking love everything. I think it's an epic song. I think it's a great way to start the album, and it just took when I first put this in and played it, I was like, wow, this is taking me somewhere, actually Somewhere in Time without the ha, and it was great, no shit. And every time I listen to this album, and I go back to this a lot, it's always fresh and it's always entertaining, and I think it is a great way to start off a great album. Ralph, what would you like to say about this incredible title track?
Okay, before I get into the title track, I want to bring up something that you brought up that really does bother me, and I cannot understand the human race when it comes to the love for that atrocity called Live After Death, that piece of crap live album. And I want to give you a little example. When we're done with this review, I want you to go and put on, well, actually any song, but especially Flight of Icarus, and tell me that shit's good. Bruce Dickinson sounds like fucking ass on that whole album. He's horrible. He kills. The band's good. The band is on. They're playing great. But Bruce Dickinson sounds like pure ass. Matter of fact, I even go farther to say Bruce Dickinson's been sounding like pure ass in the 80s, where his height, I think, and you can see it on video, is the Beast over Hammersmith. That was Bruce Dickinson at his peak, at his greatest vocally, hitting those high notes. Already, if you look at the Dortmund version of the Dortmund Live Peace of Mind, his voice is already straining by the time Power Slave, and afterwards. It even gets worse after Live After Death. I mean, listen to another live one, a dead one. I mean, the guy just sounds horrible. Again, anybody listening to this broadcast, and I know 99.9 of you love Live After Death, go ahead, put on Flight of Icarus, and then honestly tell me, does Bruce Dickinson not sound like a tired, fucked up, shitty singer? Because he does to me. Now, I'd like to also say this about Bruce Dickinson. He sounds awesome now. I don't know what happened to him after his solo stuff, which, by the way, I love Accident at Birth and Chemical Wedding more than anything Maiden has done after Power Slave. And then, Brave New World, which I don't like the later Maiden stuff, but I have seen him live, and I think he sings much better now these days than he did back in the 80s after the Number of the Beast tour. Okay, that's all I had to say about that crappy fucking Live After Death. It should have just been called Death After Death and fucking don't release this. All right, now going into this crappy album, we start off with Caught Somewhere in Time, where already the first note is like, hey, look, we've changed. Hey, here's the Rainbow Connection, guys. And I don't care for this song. I saw the tour. Bruce Dickinson came out in this fucking outfit that had these colored tubes. It was really odd. And they opened the show with Somewhere in Time. And I remember everybody around me going apeshit. And I just stood there with my arms crossed, thinking to myself, what is wrong with me? Why can't I get into this garbage? Just to cap off the first track on the album, Caught Somewhere in Time fucking sucks.
Yeah, I would just like to... I could be wrong here, but I thought the first single was Stranger in a Strange Land.
It was Wasted Years.
No, it was Wasted Years.
All right, well then fuck you both. I love Wasted Years. Great song, Adrian Smith written song, and you can kind of see where he's definitely leaning towards a more commercial. And when he would leave Iron Maiden after Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, he would make this horrible album called ASAP, the Adrian Smith Project, which was horrible. But I think his commercial writing here was perfect. I think it's a great single and just a fantastic Maiden song. And I would also like to apologize for my co-host, Ralph, who has a very high fever right now, and he's just kind of babbling. I mean, it could be something serious. But Wasted Years is a great song, and whatever Ralph has to say, keep in mind he's an older gentleman with a boiling fever right now, and don't hold it against him unless it's a big set of titties, because he'd probably love that. Ralph. Or whoever's inhibiting Ralph's brain right now, what do you think of Wasted Years?
Well, before I get into Wasted Years, I would like to say that tits don't matter. I like all sizes, flat, big, medium. To me, what really matters is a girl to make me come with a blowjob. That's what I want. I want a girl. No, don't show off like you're some kind of porn star and look at me and flick. And no, make me come with your mouth or fucking... Oh, no, you can keep sucking. I don't care if I come or not. Now let's get back to Wasted Years. Okay, here I'm going to shock you guys. Just because I'm a little, senile and I wear Depends doesn't mean my opinion doesn't matter, okay? And plus, you go to shows, man. When you got to go to the bathroom, I don't miss anything. I just pee right in my Depends. Keep watching the show. Unless they play Somewhere in Time or some shit like that, then yeah, it's bathroom break time. Wasted Years, I actually like this song musically. I know it's a little poppy from Iron Maiden. It's a little commercial, but I really do enjoy this song musically. I think Bruce Dickinson sounds like ass on it. I hate his voice. I just can't stand the guy's voice from this point up to Brave New World. I just think his voice just sounds flat and boring and understand the ways. Oh God! I mean, give me a. Okay. and I'm going to say something I know is going to piss everybody off. What I don't understand about the human race, but I guess what the human race doesn't understand about me, is that I actually like No Prayer for the Dying more than something. Yes, you heard me right. And I'll explain to you why. Actually, remind me at the end of the show, because I want Terrence to wake up, so I won't get into it. Let's have him wake up at the end of the show. All right, so musically, Wasted Years is a good song. Vocally, it sucks ass. All right, wake up, Terrence. And I'll go into the next one, Sea of Madness. Sea of Madness is a deep track that everybody seems to like, and I liked it better when it was called Flight of Icarus. It's like the same type of bullshit, but I actually like Flight of Icarus. This one has the same kind of melody. Again, I mean, musically it's not bad. It's a little heavier. It's the one thing I can say about this album, some of these songs musically is good, but the synthesizer and Bruce's voice fucks it up for me. So Sea of Madness, whatever. I really don't like this one either, although it does have its moments, but it sounds like the sister song to a much superior song called Flight of Icarus, which, by the way, a little side note, Steve Harris never wants to play Flight of Icarus again because he doesn't like the fact that it's the hit from America. He has something against America, as Bruce does, as Bruce has no problem saying that when he plays live in America, how he's pissed off how Americans just want to see the old shit. Well, maybe because the old shit's the good shit. All right, so that's my review on Sea of Sadness.
All right, Sea of Madness. I love this song, and I'd like to say, you like Sea of Madness when it was called Flight of Icarus. I liked your reviews when you were on the Muppet Show and you were up in the balcony with your fucking twin, fucking hating on everything. Sea of Madness, another great song. Man, I just fucking love this song. And I don't know what else. I don't understand why people don't get this album, because to me it's awesome, and Sea of Madness is just another reason why. I think it's an epic song. All right, Heaven Can Wait. All right, here's where I really get to piss off Ralph, which I love to do, because Heaven to Wait is the bitch of this fucking album. It's just way too long, over repetitive, and unfortunately it's the only song. Well, they started playing Wasted Years on the last couple tours, but Heaven Can Wait was the holdover, and I do find this one rather boring. Even though I mean I still like it. It's one of those where, like, I love every song, but you have to pick a least favorite. It's definitely Heaven Can Wait. With the I mean, maybe if you're from fucking across the pond and you're into fucking, sports like fucking soccer, which isn't even a fucking sport. You get into that kind of chanting and shit like that. But to me, it kind of fell on deaf ears, even though there's some parts I like. But if I had to trim the fat on this album, it would definitely be Heaven Can Wait. So, Ralph, you want to agree with me for once?
Yeah, unfortunately I do. And I don't even want to play around saying I like it just to piss you off, because I can't with this song. This song, and I'll explain to you why this song really, really pisses me off. Because starting with Somewhere in Time, I went to go see the Seven Sun tour after that. Then, No Prayer canceled, but they came down here, Fear the Dark, and X Factor. All those tours came to South Florida. I went to all 4 of those tours, and all 4 of those shows, they played this craptacular song. I fucking hate this song, and I couldn't understand why they kept playing it over and over and over again. It seemed like they just loved it. And I noticed when they would play this song live, it would just sap the energy from the crowd. Nobody was into this shit. Even like during the Somewhere Time era, everybody was like, hey, man, when I hear those, I'm like, man, maybe I can get a quick blowjob. Maybe I can find a girl that can make me come to a blowjob here during this song. Because if she can make me come to a blowjob, she can do it in these 5, 6, 7 minutes of just fucking boredom. And yes, Ian, that's right. I agree with you. Oh my God. Fuck this song. I felt like going up on stage and anally raping Steve Harris for this shit. with my fist. Fuck Heaven Can Wait. I can't wait till it's over.
Then can I stick my hand up your ass, Ralph, and make you say you like this album?
Yeah. Maybe I will like it if I have some good gay anal sex. Maybe I'll get it.
Funny enough, Loneliness of the Long Distance Runner. I love this fucking song. Love it. And I had, when this came out, I believe I was in 6th grade, and my math teacher was yelling at me like, you're not paying attention in class. I'd get caught like, doodling, metal shit in my Trapper Keeper other than doing math. And he's like, what's your problem? And I'm like, man, all I think about is fucking metal. And he's like, metal? And I was like, yeah. I'm like, this is the shit. I go, I'm going to bring you in some metal and let you listen to it. And this is one of the cassettes I brought in. And he came back and he goes, I don't know. He goes, but I did like that Iron Maiden song, Loneliness of the Long Distance Runner. So if it's good enough for my 6th grade math teacher, it's fucking good enough for me. And I love this song. I think it's epic. Even though the lyrics don't, I could give a shit less about running unless I'm being chased. But I think it's a great fucking song.
All right, so I'll go on. Let me start this one. I want to start this one because I know you guys love this one. Stranger in a Strange Land. Now, here's the continuous Achilles' Last Stand worshiping Iron Maiden song, where I could be wrong. I'm trying to think. Didn't it all start with the Trooper or Flight of Icarus? The dun 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 dun. Because I can't recall any song before that. Because you had dun 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 there, and then also on Power Slave you had the song Power Slave and Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner with the Gallop. Now we continue with the Gallop. Now this song just bores the piss out of me. And yeah, I always hated this song, but I just hate it extra because this is what got Ian into the album. And the video sucks. I saw that tour and the whole thing with the inflatable Eddie I thought was hokey live when I saw it. It wasn't like the Power Slave with a huge mummy. I mean, Power Slave tour was so badass because it was one thing after the other. It was like first you see the big mummy Eddie walking around and all that crazy shit, and then at the very end this humongous Eddie comes out with with bandages all over. Well, this one was a blow-up doll, it was fucking hokey, and they show it in the video. And then the next album, I think it was Seventh Son, had the Gallop, but in which the song Seventh Son, which I didn't mind. Then after that, where No Prayer for the Dying had this exceptionally kick-ass great song called Run Silent, Run Deep, which continues this Gallop shit. That song fucking rules. And the reason why I love No Prayer for the Dying... Oh, shit. I'll talk about No Prayer for the Dying at the end. Terrence fell asleep again. Anyway, fuck Stranger in a Strange Land. Fuck that song in the brown eye.
All right, Stranger in a Strange Land. Go fuck yourself. I love this song. And, if you think about it, probably 75% of all Iron Maiden songs sounds like they were written by Steve Harris fucking on the back of a horse. They all have that fucking, that gallop.
Well, Achilles' Last Stand. Listen to that Led Zeppelin song.
Yeah. But
Lights Out by UFO.
Yeah.
I bet you that's where he got it from.
Yeah. One of UFO's only good songs.
And
But no, I love this song. It was my introduction to Maiden. I saw this video on Headbangers Ball, and I was like, this is fucking awesome. This is why I bought the album, and by proxy, that is why I'm a huge Maiden fan. I cannot say enough good about this. It's a great fucking track. But, if you don't like it, you're wrong. But, there's nothing wrong with being wrong. But
I love being wrong.
I feel like I already introduced this song, but maybe it's just fucking deja vu. Get it? Topical humor. I love this fucking song. It's another one. How do you fault this album other than fucking Heaven Can Wait? I don't know. I just love it. I've got nothing extra special to say about it, but I think it's a great tune. And I would love to see Maiden, just play something like this. Just something different off this album other than Wasted Years or Heaven Can Wait. And if they played this, I'd be fucking tickled pink. So, Ralph, I know this is probably one of the ones you really like. You know, you're going to surprise me with, right?
Well, I'll tell you this: Maiden has never played this song live, and this song really does piss me off because I do like it, and I hate liking it.
Love it.
I hate liking anything off the album, but this is as close as they get to classic Maiden. This could have fit well on Power. Well, no, maybe more Peace of Mind. Got that feel, the old school days. It's just a great. This is a great song. Not my favorite though, believe it or not. Okay, Alexander the Great pisses me off even more than Deja Vu because I like it more than Deja Vu. I think it's the best song on the album, and it was actually Iron Maiden doing something different than they have ever before because there are some like almost jazzy type changes in the song. To me, the standout track on the album, to me, the only two songs that matter are the last two songs on the album. Now, I'm not 100% sure if I really do like those songs or it just makes me happy to know the shitty album's almost over. Maybe that's why I like those two songs. I don't know.
I'm actually glad to hear you like this because I figured your favorite part of this album was the silence in between the tracks.
Yeah, well, actually, that is the best part of the album.
But I think this is an epic Iron Maiden song. Never played live. If you go on their chat room, this is one that fans are always asking to hear. The smart fans, that is. It's a great fucking track. I think it's on par with Rime of the Ancient Mariner. Now that might be blasphemy to some people, but I think it's that fucking epic and important and should be played. All right, I'd like to say I love this album. It does get a lot of comparison to Judas Priest Turbo, which was also my first Judas Priest album. I think this has aged a hell of a lot better than Turbo. I think it's a great album. Maiden is one of my favorite bands of all time. I'm a huge fan of the Di'Anno era. Both the first two studio albums of Made in Japan are incredible and have a fire that they've never gotten back. Not that I don't like the Bruce, but it's a totally different feel. Get more of a punk, more just urgent feel to it that I love. You can't go wrong though with Number of the Beast, Peace of Mind, Power Slave. I still love Live After Death. I don't give a fuck what Ralph says. This album is great. Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. While I enjoy it, I'm not as big on it as most people are. And unfortunately, I have to agree with Ralph. I am a big fan of No Prayer for the Dying. I think, yes, I think there's some really good songs. I like how they went back to like, hey, we're going to do some shorter songs. It felt more urgent, more like angry. I think, maybe they were lost because Adrian Smith wasn't there anymore. So they're like, oh, let's go back to trying this or whatever. But I like it. It's not their best, but I like the feel. I definitely think it's a stronger album than the follow-up, Fear of the Dark, which I think there are some good songs on, but overall, I think No Prayer's a stronger record. The Blaze era, I really cannot stand, but I don't put all the blame on Blaze. I think a lot of it had to do with sloppy songwriting from Steve Harris. When they got back together with Bruce, I love Brave New World. I think Brave New World's a great record. Nice having all three guitar play. I like that they kept Yannick, because Yannick stuck by him through some shitty fucking years. And I think he adds a lot to the band and a lot of spirit. Dance of the Death. I like it better than I did when it first came out, but that ain't fucking saying much. Let's see what's after that. Matter of Life and Death. There's some good material on there, but the songs are getting way too fucking long overall. They need to trim a lot of fat. Too many repetitive choruses that go nowhere. And that's plagued a lot of Iron Maiden, if I'm honest. But there are some good songs on that album. Final Frontier, I saw the Final Frontier tour. There's some good songs on there, but once again, way longer than it needs to be. Again, I think all bands need to go back to think of it as a vinyl record and keep those time constraints and, just come up with the best shit and cut off the fat. And I think I would love to hear a Maiden album where they just trim the fucking fat. Give me one fucking epic, but the rest of it, give me some fucking 2 Minutes to Midnight. Give me some Run to the Hills. Give me some, 4 minutes, I'm going to fucking slap you upside the fucking head and I'm out. But we'll see what happens with the next album. I hope it leans towards that, but we'll see. Overall, I love Iron Maiden, and I just want to apologize for what Ralph's going to say after this.
Okay, I hate to agree with Ian, but yeah, to me, I mean, I love the piano stuff more than any Iron Maiden era. I love how pissed off they were. I love how hungry they were. They didn't. To me, those two albums, there's not a bad song to be found. Solid albums. Love any and everybody's Diano. Yeah, Diano added a lot, but you also have to remember, man, the late great Clive Burr, who was just such a monster, amazing drummer. And Nico McBrain filled those shoes quite nicely. I gotta say, Nico McBrain is a monster drummer as well, but I can't blame Nico for, not being there when they did, in my opinion, their best music. Because remember, the Beast would be my favorite Bruce Dickinson era Iron Maiden album, even though, and I know I'm going to get shit for this, I don't like Invaders or Ganglands. But the rest of the album, I feel like Total Eclipse should have been on there, and I can do without those two songs. Peace of Mind, I loved, except for Quest for Fire. I think Sun and Steel is a very underrated classic they never played live. Of course, Power Slave, again, flawless. I love it. I love Lost for Words. I love Back in the Village, which a lot of consider the hokey one. I love that song. I love that whole album. Solid all the way up to there. Then after that, you already heard what I feel about Somewhere in Time. Seventh Son, I like Moonchild, and I like the title track, but the rest, No Prayer, I don't really think it's that great, but compared to the two prior, yeah, because they're going more to a stripped down type thing, Kale Gunner, which is kind of like Aces High Part 2. Like I said earlier, Run Silent, Run Deep, Assassin, the title track, Mother Russia. I love all those songs more than anything from the past two albums. Fear the Dark, I call Fear the Dark shit sandwich, because it starts off with what's that song that's goddamn
Be Quick or Be Dead.
That's the opening track. The last track is Fear the Dark. Those two songs are good. They're like two strong pieces of bread. Everything inside it is shit. I'm sorry, I don't like Judas Be My Guide. Especially, to me, in my opinion, the worst song Iron Maiden has ever done, even worse than anything Blaze has done, with the exception of Angel and the Gambler. I say it's as bad as Angel and the Gambler is Weekend Warrior. Holy crap, what the fuck was that about? Okay, the Blaze stuff, musically, I do like Man on the Edge. I like the first Sign of the Cross. There's a couple of songs off both albums, Future, Real. But Blaze sounds kind of crappy. I did see the X Factor tour, and I thought Blaze was much better live than captured on tape. But yeah, that was Steve Harris just being a control freak, just like Glenn Tipton was during the Ripper era. No input from everybody, just took over and really suffered for it. Then Brave New World, which I didn't really like. I liked the Ghost of the Navigator and Fallen Angel. Wicker Man I liked better when it was recorded by Judas Priest and they called it Running Free. I mean Running Wild. And then after that, I really don't care. I don't care for Dance with Death. I don't care for Matter of Death. And I saw the Final Frontier tour, and I spent most of the time going outside getting beer. And then run in when they play something old like The Trooper or Rat Child. But most of that show was just stuff from, Brave New World up. So that was a very big, disappointing show. Which I really loved the tour before that. The tour they played in Florida, which was, what was that tour?
Somewhere Back in Time. Somewhere Back in Time.
That was an amazing show where they played Children of the Damned. I've never seen them play that. They played Phantom of the Opera, which I don't like when Bruce sings piano songs. To me, it's a downgrade, but at least to see them play it, which, by the way, they did play Phantom of the Opera on the Somewhere in Time tour. So my recap is I am a huge Iron Maiden fan from 1980 to 1984. There's spots I like afterwards, but as a whole, I think it's just horrible. And to me, Judas Priest will always be the superior band. I know a lot of people prefer Iron Maiden, obviously, because Iron Maidens can still play huge festivals and huge arenas where Judas Priest has to downgrade to amphitheaters and, smaller venues, at least down here. So Iron Maiden came out the winner, but then again, Justin Bieber's more popular than both of them combined. So that just shows you how the human race is. So my recap is fuck Somewhere in Time, all hail Paul Di'Anno, and all hail Bruce Dickinson, up to Power Slave.
I forgot to interject.
And another thing, I'm sorry, I have to bring up is Janik Gears. Fuck that guy. Seriously. He's sloppy. He's the most annoying member I've ever seen live on stage other than the bass player of Rat. I mean, that guy is really, I don't know why the fuck he's still in the band. I think he has pictures of Steve Harris fucking farm animals. That's why I think he's still in the fucking band. That guy's horrible. He sucks. He looks like Eddie. That's the only good part about it. He looks like Eddie. But he's a sloppy player. It pisses me off when he plays Adrian Smith solos while Adrian Smith is on the fucking stage with him. What the fuck's up with that shit? That's fucking blasphemy. That's as bad as Tommy Thayer. Fuck Janet Gears. Fuck him in the brown eye. And and also want to bring up the B-sides that Terrence brought up earlier. Juanita, a great fucking song, a hard rocker, a fast one, really cool. That Girl is a little more melodic, but I dig it. And Sheriff, how do you feel? I love that song. It's funny. It's kick-ass. Those songs, I mean, that
Reach Out.
Made it to me. Reach Out, I didn't like. I'm sorry. It was just too damn melodic. It was like you can tell Adrian was, I mean, if you look, I believe that's the album where Adrian's actually wearing a Vinnie Vincent Invasion shirt. If you look inside, he is.
Yeah.
Look inside the booklet. He's wearing a big, and then on Seventh Son, I think he's wearing an LA Gun shirt, which, nothing against, I like the first LA Guns album, but, Vinnie Vincent, regardless of what you guys think of Vinnie Vincent, which I really love his work in Kiss, his solo Invasion shit was like so over the top and so glammy with the pink hair and all that, where for Adrian to be into that instead of like, flair and stuff that was going on at the time, showed you the direction he wanted to go in. You can tell he's getting sick of the metal, unfortunately. But, and that's why I feel that Somewhere in Time and Seventh Son kind of suffered from the hunger fire from all the albums before, and No Prayer of Dying, even though it did fail, at least they attempted to bring back the fire they had in earlier releases with shorter songs and more to the point.
All right, in closing, I would like to say I still stand by Yannick Gears, and I don't know what you have against Juan Crucier from Rat, but I'm sure we'll get into that when we review a Rat album. And I love Iron Maiden.
God, that guy's beyond annoying on stage.
Oh my! It's no different than Rudy Sarzo. I mean, they both fuck the bass and lick it.
No, Hey. No negative Rudy Sarzo talk.
Hey, I love Rudy Sarzo. I got my picture. I met Rudy Sarzo. He's playing with Scab Queensryche, and talked to him backstage. He signed my copy of Metal Health that I took with me, and he was a great dude. But yeah, he fucks the bass the same way Juan does, and the same way that Yannick does when he's playing with Maiden.
He's from my hometown, Hialeah, Florida. He's a Cuban like me, and he was best friends with Randy Rhoads. I mean, come on. Yeah, all right. He was a great bass player and an amazing human being. He's a very nice guy. Actually, I don't know him personally, but I met him several times, and Rudy Sarzo rules. We should do a show on Rudy Sarzo.
Well, actually, I'm close personal friends with Rudy Sarzo, and interesting story. And he's a big fan of Juan Crucier and Yannick Gears. So, just want to let you know that.
Oh, and I also want to say, this show is sponsored by South Florida thrash metal band Thrash or Die. That's right, Thrash or Die. Everybody in the band is pussy whipped except for the singer. The singer is desperately looking for a girl to give him a blowjob and make him come at the same time. So if you have the skills to make me come with a blowjob, come on over. And if you can't do it, I'd appreciate that too. Thrash or Die, South Florida, and the check's in the mail, guys.
Ralph, I'm going to have my mom call you because she's a hell of a date, and she hates Somewhere in Time too. So maybe you guys can hit it off.
Oh,
and
for sure, she can make me come to a blowjob.
She'll do her best. She's a sweetheart.
No, but I already know your mom, so I'll bring her over anyway. I'll have deja vu. Get it? Feels like she sucked this before. Feels like she sucked this before.
Well, I'm glad my mom doesn't watch this, but I was signing off.